UFO experiences.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just pressed the button, Angela, the Sylvia of
Oh
Colorful
my God.
Foresight, and dance with Angela. So I've been talking
Hi.
with Angela the past 5 minutes, thinking we've been live. So heck, we just make that the funny. We've been talking to ourselves.
We've been trying to find the UFO alien experience.
So last week, Angela, we did part one where we shared about um what cards could represent UFO sighting. Like when, the Pentagon, they'll show like images of there's something up there. And it's not about alien per se, it's about there's something unknown identified, right?
And the
But,
aircraft, the
well,
guys in the aircraft having it on their radar, that's like a sighting.
yes.
Yeah.
And then, so I'll put that in the description for part one. Tonight, part two, we're going to share on UFO experiences. So there's not too many people who may had experienced it, but they thought they had it. And I
Yeah.
have a few of those. And Angela and I actually have communicated with our universal friend, but that's more meditation and sight.
Channeling
Which,
and
yeah, and we're going to probably do some videos on that tomorrow that will show up in a few weeks. So the card for UFO, your personal UFO experiences, is the Wheel of Fortune. And this is from the book The Life There. And it makes sense because it's about a turning point, which it would be a turning point if you had that experience. I allowed the transformative energy of faith help me to expand my experiences. That would definitely be an experience. Um, and it would be a total cycle. Like, think about it, the cycle. That would shift your awareness to, like, wow, I had something that, it's very enlightening, that for sure. I would change it, fate, destiny, that's for sure. What else? You don't really have to know, like, the true meaning of the Wheel of Fortune, but I could see that because that would be a total shift of cycle of everything you known in the past to actually have a UFO experiences. And Angela, what has been your experiences or none?
I was just saying before we went live, I was going to share that my main experience is Doctor Who. I
Oh,
was a Doctor Who fan since I was 3 years old, watching Cybermen and Daleks and hiding behind the couch and loving it. And I really actually believed it was real. I never thought Doctor Who was not real. I just thought it was trying to recommunicate to the modern population actual things with,
right.
some creative input. But Davros is so, everybody knows that Davros. He's the leader of the Daleks. So I haven't had an actual experience with aliens. I've got a lot of friends who have told me things. And I was just thinking about the Wheel of Fortune that you pulled, because the Wheel of Fortune is also succumbing to fate or destiny or things that are unplanned. So, and the cycle of time of the universe and of the life cycle itself. So sometimes you have a major accident, and or if you've got a UFO experience, it completely disturbs your life, and it can
Yeah.
be a good thing and it can be a negative thing.
So is that the perfect card, like for
Mm.
an UFO experiences? So show me your card that you have for tonight.
Oh, I didn't even think to pick one. So,
Angela actually used the tarot for healing. She really doesn't read it per se to you two in the past.
yeah. So I got the Nine of Swords reversed. And these are the Lovers Tarot with Jane Lyle from the 90s. Jane was from the London psychics that were doing stuff. So, yeah, I'm not sure what would that be.
Well, the
That's the
nine of
first
swords
word
like
that,
somebody who's fearful, right? So
yeah,
the
but
opposite.
I also got the word betrayal. So, because what's coming up with the Wheel of Fortune and this one reversed, it's that sense of the UFO experiences. You know, when people feel like they're being operated on and there's implants, and then when they try to tell their story, people just think you're cuckoo bananas. I listen to Dolores Cannon on some of her understanding of the alien experiments on people,
Mm-hmm.
and I can share that video if I can find it again. I have to go through. She was explaining that aliens have been working on our DNA, but not. It's done in a very sophisticated manner. So there is stories of some of the people who have alien experiences. It's happened throughout their family because some of the aliens are following the DNA progression along the family line, and they may have worked on the great grandparents, and they're now working on the next evolutions. That's what Dolores was sharing. But Dolores was saying there's no bad will, but the feeling I get from some of the experiences I've heard or seen on YouTube, and nobody I know personally, um, but it's that sense that they've been betrayed, like it's taking them out of their normal life cycle. And Wheel of Fortune is that life cycle.
Yeah, it's like
So,
everything they've known, right? So that makes sense with the reverse of nine of sword. And
yeah,
you have to go with intuition. Like the card, it's not always like something you have to take literal. A big
yeah.
part of playing tarot is your intuition. So I picked the card, and it was the Ten of Pentacles.
Oh,
And
wow.
they're really our family, the universal friend, right? Universal family. So I could see that. Let me show you something that it was released on news the other day. It's constantly on the news. It's only about a minute. Hold on. Okay, this is from a mysterious spiral appear in night sky over Hawaii, and it's a legit channel from CBS News. So it's not like you never know. Like sometime on YouTube.
It's beautiful. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Stunning.
So I was like, is that a real deal? And hi, Warrior Girl. Warrior Girl's on. How are you doing? So I'm
Hey,
going to
Warrior
ask,
Girl.
that example, is that a live screen you're looking at? Yes, it was. It was on CBS. I'll put in a link in the description below. So I'm going to ask, if it's yes, it goes this way. If it's no, it goes circled. And if it's like something else, can we know it's something? But let's see, was that like a UFO? That UFO, that spiral. We see it going up. It's a yes. So we know that. We know there's something in the sky. Angela, you see what she said? She said
All
hello.
right, today. Hi. Hi, Warrior Girl. I
Don't
like your
worry.
numbers. 113 are my lucky numbers.
Is it?
At the moment, I get 131331 331. I get them all the time. Yeah.
So, Warrior, the card for tonight is for the Wheel of Fortune. That's for people who actually had UFO experiences. The only thing I could share, I mean, I have quite a few, but the one that I want to share is that my friend and I,
Right on cue.
hello, my friend and I were driving in Queens, mind you, the busy area, and we were driving on the highway. And so we're like 20 years old, 21 years old, about 11 o'clock at night. We're not drunk or anything like that. And at that time in the 1990s, um, not something we would talk about, UFO or anything like that. You know, it wasn't really a topic that her and I would talk about. So we're in the car and we're chatting. And I remember looking at the clock and it was like 11 o'clock at night. And then we pass underneath, you know, the bypass. And the next thing I know, I go like this and I look at the clock, it's 1 o'clock within a few seconds. And I look to my friend and she just said, "What happened?" So if she had not said what happened, then I would have been like, "Oh, I had a trip." But we were just talking about nothing related to UFO or anything like that. Not in our friendship to talk about that at that time. So I always wonder, and she's not really at this time. We have talked about it and we go, "Remember that time?" But she's too busy with life and stuff. She's not, it's not something that she would go into. And I always wondered, was that a UFO experience? Was that like a time lapse thing? So I consider that was something, a UFO experience. It's the unknown, something that was unknown. So that was pretty cool. So again,
And
go
what are
ahead.
they doing in that time lapse? What's the purpose of that? Like, who are you being transported to another time
That's the
realm?
thing. I don't have any memory of it. And maybe eventually I will. I never did a meditation on it, but I
Oh,
think it's just enough to make us aware that there's something going on. Like I've had things go on in my life since with interesting experiences. Not quite a UFO, but like I saw when I was in upstate New York, like 20 years later, and I saw stuff. And then my mother friend said something about it at another time. Could I never share that? So those are the things that make me go, you know? But it wasn't like the one that you hear on the news where that, you know, they're taken from the ship or anything like that.
yeah.
So maybe we're having it more than we think. We just don't know about it.
Yeah, Warrior Girls is saying, maybe wondering if it's a time loop. And oh, Warrior Girl's got a few sightings.
Well, so people seen things, but it's not like you actually had, where they put, but you had an experience. She lived in central upstate. Warrior,
Okay.
that's where I have seen the ship,
Yeah.
upstate New York in the Catskill. All those mountains. So,
And didn't your mum see it as well, Sylvia?
no, it's my mother friend
Okay.
that was up there with us, and she wanted to knock on the door. I was in my room, and my mother's like, "Leave her alone." I was like, "If you ever have that experience again, don't you ever just freaking knock. Don't listen to my mother." But she believes in that, so her and I will talk about it. She said back before cell phone, so it doesn't happen too often, but when it does, but Anne and I also have experiences where when we meditate, we'll communicate with universal friends. And we may share about that in another video.
Yeah.
Because I feel like more people may have that experiences, especially people who's in the spiritual community. They might sense it. They might intuitively see them. So they are a universal friend. The Ten of Coins.
universal friends. I'm just going to pull
Like a
from that.
family. They're really an extension of us, right? So they're family. So you pick the card. You can pick a card too, Warrior. So come and play with us.
I think this came up the last video you did, Sylvia, the Two of Swords. And
I
that,
don't remember in detail.
yeah,
Do you?
I remember it was,
Oh, being blindfold, right? Not wanting to see what's there.
yeah,
That's
and
kind of like how we are. Like we're kind of like living life blindfolded. There are things out there that are
yeah.
around us.
And what was helpful in the last video for me was that real explanation of the conflict of the belief system. So this is like,
Mm.
for me, you're conflicted between your heart and your head, and then the belief systems have to be knocked over or transformed. Just going to pull another card.
And you know what reminds me of Angela? Angela's had some interesting experiences, which we'll do a video, where she knows it's real, but she still, her mind, need validation over and over. She's seen like the unseen and had miracles before, but with the programming did not it minimize. It's like minimize that to actually believe the miracle. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Joan, we're doing on your UFO experiences. So, Angela, what other card do you pick? I'm going to shuffle.
I wanted to share, Warrior Girl's got some cards as well about karma on the Wheel of Fortune. And then I pulled it more on the conflict of heart and head and got the King of Swords. So for me, the King of Swords is always being very, not manipulative, but you use the art of your mind to control your destiny in many ways. So it can be a legal person, or lawyers are those people who seem to advocate for us as well when we're struggling and we're in a hot mess and can't move forward because of some entanglements, but also cutting through stuff. So how do we move forward with our mind? And I guess with the UFO experience, the King of Swords could be someone who's trying to get to the truth. And then Warrior Girl also said something about the Wheel of Fortune. Can you see that, Sylvia? The Wheel of Fortune about karma and dharma?
Well, you know what's interesting? You said that. Yeah, it is about karma and dharma. Well, yeah, that would make sense because why some people are seeing it over others right away, even though it's like meant for everybody to experience in the long run. Why are some people experiencing it and not others? Maybe past life, maybe it's because our spiritual growth. I was sharing earlier with Angela, I think I had that experience in 1920, at 19, 20 years old, because it made me go, It might have also woke me up because after that I got into tarot. I got into spiritual things. So when we have experiencing experiences like that, sometimes it's like an energy thing, some kind of awakening. I never thought of that, but that's true.
And before I was talking about some of the people who've had experiences with experiments or been experimented on. They feel a sense of betrayal, or why is this happening to me? And Dolores Cannon, in her work, she does regression with people who have had experiments done on them. And she's saying that it is done on families. So sometimes maybe your soul or your family's tribe stepped up to help the alien work on our DNA to help us watch this human evolution experiment. I'm interested in the Dharma piece, Warrior Girl. Yeah, you're saying that they help us for eons. And so the Dharma, if you're having a alien experience and being followed or operated on, maybe you might not be aware of how you're helping the species evolve, or because your mind is conflicted about it and you get that sense that I'm being experimented on and they're persecuting me, versus actually this is part of my soul contract. But it must be terrifying if you came in and you're resolving some karma from your family, and the souls decided to be part of this experiment to help humanity and the species move forward, and you're thinking, what is going on? Yeah.
And maybe that's why I don't remember what happened with me, but I just kind of laugh it off. Like, if it's meant to be that I'm supposed to know it'll happen, then I can think about that. But another card I picked up, going with that, they're our universal family with the 10 of coins. They're
Oh,
also our friend, as Warrior said that, and you said, Andrew, they're our friend. Then they're not. They don't have to be the terrifying thing. And there are more things out there. Maybe there are good and bad, but on my channel, we're not focusing on the bad. There's enough YouTube channels on that. We're going to focus on the positive.
did you
There's
see?
Joan.
Yeah, Joan. Yeah. So in India, yeah. And we've got a teacher actually from India, and he talks about stuff. He doesn't mention aliens exactly, but he talks about stuff that we just don't know today that existed in India, but it's disappeared from our current conventional knowing. And it's not in the history records. But there are pictures, and there's pictures in many civilizations globally that show figures that could be aliens.
I firmly believe in the law of one, that we are connected, and feel that karma, dharma are mostly just an earthly thing. Not entirely sure though. You think the wheel of fortune would be the law of one?
We're in the middle
What do
of
you
the
know about the
circle.
law of one, Angela?
In the middle of the wheel is one. So,
Oh,
yeah. So the sphere is a symbol of the law of one, because we are all bursts of star energy from the original creation. All of us, our souls, our soul groups are points of light from that original, well, it wasn't a linear point of time. And so the wheel, the sphere itself, if you imagine planet Earth as well, all the human beings are surrounding the center of the core of planet Earth. And then our Earth is just one planet in around the center of the universe. So we're all points of light, and we're in the center of the sphere is the one, and we're radiating from that one.
almost every ancient civilization had clues about them, but didn't use the same language we do today. Yeah, I mean, we've heard that there'd been many society that had alien or UFO experiences. So this is nothing new. But I thought it'd be fun to do this video. Like, have you had it? Have you had it more like with me, or like Warrior who's seen it? Or have you had like Angel who's seen it in meditation? So it shows in many different ways that technically we've had UFO experiences. You've had, Angela. It's just maybe not in the way
Oh,
of the
wow.
typical, the thank God, I don't know if I want that. I prefer like meditation.
Yeah, I
Or
prefer watching Doctor Who and going, yeah, I know about these guys.
yeah, who knows? And what's interesting, I don't know where this card came from, pop out of nowhere. The Six of Pentacle. It's a give and take. I think that's part of the law of one, right? Everything is like this, right?
Yes, and receiving help when you need help as well. So the aliens, I forgot who said before, they've been with us forever. And Dolores Cannon shares on that too when she regresses people, that these aliens have been working with our DNA forever and helping us to evolve.
Helping us.
So Earth was a kind of experiment to see if we could evolve into a sacred planet and get enlightenment. And they chose the ape species
Yeah.
to be the one with hands that was the most capable of evolving. to
And one
enlightenment.
and one thing that came to mind is that most of us know about Linda G.
Yeah.
And Linda G mentioned that by now they're helping us, but they've had to help us, especially when it comes to war people that are working around the it's totally escape. The bomb, what is that? Nuclear bomb. And the UFOs, they will like surround the area to make sure that it does not go on because whatever happens on planet Earth affects the universe. So they're helping us in ways that, they've been helping us. So another card that came to me is the Nine of Coins. And in this particular thing, it's like somebody who's very self sufficient. But here, I feel like this could be like them, and we're reaching out to
Oh,
them. But we're confident. We're not going to have fear or feeling betrayal like what Angela had with that card, the Nine of Swords in reverse, where it was betrayal. So hopefully, as they continue to show up, we could have confidence. It could be in a way that we don't feel betrayed and we embrace them. So that's what came to my mind. I like that. That's a cool story. Let's go with that. So this is what Joan said. I think humans are getting ready for a new wave of alien presence. Yep. I think they were here in a big way eon ago. Then they were very hands off with human for a while. Now they are getting ready. What comes to
great.
mind? Joan,
Oh,
why don't you pick a card for that? Like,
yeah. Yeah, that presence and being in the physical form too.
Joan said maybe she had that experience when she was young. Anything's possible. The warrior girl got the nine of swords like Angela and the seven cup. They both flew out of the deck.
Yeah,
Well,
let's I'd like to know more about that warrior girl because I like to know how people can deal with the Nine of Swords card. It's a little bit, it's like stress inducing. And
the
the
warrior, why
Seven of
don't
Swords
you
is Seven of Cups is choices. And
put your interpretation? What do you think that means? So it's not just us. I mean, I have an idea. One thing that came to me with the seven of cup is um like illusion delusion, right? The nine of sword, like am I seeing right?
yeah, an
But
illusion,
also
big
it could
time.
be it could be a UFO experience because it's like something that's coming out of nowhere or something that's not what we're used to.
I'm still getting a lot of messages similar to the part one video because I got death reversed, and it's a little bit like complete death of the illusion that we're alone, and that humanity has to be how we are. Um, so Warrior
That's
Girl
probably
mentioned
why they're
Hiroshima.
preparing us, right? What do you
Yeah,
think? That's why.
because Hiroshima and Ukraine, Warrior Girl mentioned those as big points where the aliens were involved, and Linda G's talked about that big time in Ukraine now. And I've heard so many stories about the governments after Hiroshima and before Hiroshima, aliens were having conversations and making even deals. They were offering technology to not use the nuclear bomb, and that mind of humanity that just went ahead and did it anyway. That's the illusion. We think that humans have to do war and kill in this manner to resolve our problems. That's the illusion. And that connects to our karma as well and our dharma. How do we change that perception of humanity that we have to
Ooh.
be this way? So, yeah, Nine of Swords is, and the Seven of Cups have got the death of our illusion.
Oh, they're gonna participate. Um, so UFO experiences. It comes with fears, and it comes with, for some people, no fear. Joan asks, are aliens getting ready for a new era of coming back and helping us? I got the Judgment, the Three of Coins, and the Empress reversed. So what do you get from that, Joan? And what do you get that from that, Angela?
Yeah.
Anything?
What came to me, I know it sounds very biblical, but it's that end of days thing. And Three of Coins, it's like what you give, you will receive. And the Empress reversed. You did a reading with the Empress a few videos ago that really impacted me, but it's like our planet and our future, how we're developing the future of our planet. Yes, about Joan says for the Judgment. Her question, oh yeah, Joan's question was really powerful about are aliens getting ready for a new era of coming back and helping us? And so Judgment and the Three Coins and the Empress for her was yes, about the new era, and yes to coming back, and yes to helping. So definitely. And the Empress reversed. So yeah, what would the Empress reverse be if aliens are coming back and
Well, I'm going
helping
to ask the
us?
card. Let's get
Oh
clarity.
yeah.
Sometimes we need clarity. We don't have to know everything. But the judgment makes sense because it's depending on how you view it. That's why they want to like hopefully get us used to it. The Three of Coin is like working together, as you said. And the Empress reverse, which we're all stumped on. So let's see what card I get from that. I got the Three of Wand. Three of Wand is like plan of action and to move forward. So the Empress reverse. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty cool. That's why we help each other. For me, looking at the Nine of Swords card itself, she's sitting on the edge of a plush forest with dragonflies soared above her head, crisscrossing each other with one sword above them and the moon behind it. Right,
Yeah. What Joan said is what I'm feeling. Could Empress symbolize planet Earth needing a new direction, humanity needing a new direction?
right.
And
So that would be the reverse.
yeah, and I got Six of Pentacles reverse, which is that exchange card. And I Three of Coins for me is what you put in is what you get, and that was enforced by that. So the Three of Coins is about collaboration and projects together, but this is very much about when it's reversed, it's like, are you putting in as much as you want for that new humanity, or are you holding back? What you put in is what you'll get. What you create with your consciousness is what will be manifest with humanity, with the new direction.
So she had one hand over her bowed head as if at her
Ah,
wit end.
the illusion. Ah,
But she looked up and saw the sword combined with the moon cutting through the illusion that she had stressed only because of her thought. So the Empress, right, in reverse would be that. They're not feeling at their best. Hmm.
and what are we
So,
giving birth to? Because Empress is about what we're birthing. So
right.
humanity has to be conscious. What are we giving birth to? Everybody's freaking out about that on Earth.
The wheel of fortune, what new cycles are we creating
What
as we
cycles?
as we get prepared from our universal friend for us to get used to it. I mean, this is more again, it will be in our lifetime, but it's more toward the younger generation, it'll be more of a new normal. And we know they've been around, they have been around. But the fact that we keep seeing the news, I showed earlier, was just on CBS yesterday, this interesting scroll, and they keep showing in public news. distracted in her head, in my opinion. The truth is, there we just have to look beyond our own thought, which is a judgment card, upbringing the societal norms that we have been conditioned by to not believe in the truth of help. To the Empress is the ultimate nurturer, right? So that would be the opposite of the Empress would be a person who can't receive help. Help.
And Joan, I think Warrior Girl's um, describing her Nine of Swords, or Warrior Girl, are you doing that description of the card? Is that Nine of Swords? I just wasn't clear.
Yeah, basically the fear
Yeah.
of the unknown. Sure.
So if you go back and read Warrior Girl's description with the sword, with the dragonflies and the swords cutting through the moon on her card of the Nine of Swords. So it's cutting through the, yeah, cutting through the illusion. The moon is the illusion.
And this is probably why that probably describe your UFO experience. It would be some expansion. It would be letting go of the old cycles of all you known and going into something else. It would be like a total different way of life and things like that. And you had the death reverse, right?
Death of, yeah, then I got that was the death of the illusion of who we are as a species. Yeah.
Yeah, because we know like so little compared to what we're really about. And most of us that do this kind of work or been into this know this, but it's kind of curious because it's like, is this really going to happen? Like, I've been hearing about it. I used to be so into it. And then I said, you know what? When the time happens and if it happens, then I'll get into it. Because a lot of spiritual people, they're too much out there and they need to be grounded. We have to bring heaven to earth together. Otherwise, you're out there and you're not living here. So now I'm living here, and suddenly this stuff out here that I just let go is starting to come more into surface. So we're getting that blend. It's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
also
I feel it more at an energetic level because I don't have, well, I learnt about UFOs through, not UFOs, but alien life through Doctor Who as a child. I was 3 years old. So for me, it was real. It was always real. And then I heard voices. And that then later on, I started realizing that was other beings at a much later age. But for me, I didn't have a sense that they would become physical, but that more of humanity would actually start to know that there's a non-physical world. Because for me, the physical world, it's very small, but the non-physical world is unlimited. There's no physical form. And that's enormous. And a lot of aliens travel between those realms. And that's, so for me, the experience is about humans, maybe collectively or individually, I don't know. I guess we're opening to that sense of the non-physical, and that's what I do with when I dance. I feel the non-physical realms, and that's how I get communications from
But
other
isn't it cool that the UFO they could go from the unseen to seen?
scene.
It's usually like one way or the other, but they could literally go from wormhole or whatever to the seen. So, and I mean, apparently they are us like 2,000 years ahead or many million. They are part of us. They're just more advanced. So there's a lot of things that we are experiencing and unseen that, I mean, if you use intuition, a lot of us see things that are the unseen, but it's real, right?
Yeah.
So um let's see what other card could represent UFO experiences. Let's have fun. What else we got? You could use your crystal cards if you
It's
want.
funny you should say that. How did you know? I'm glad you asked. So I was, as you were talking, I pulled the moon card, moonstone, moonstone. And this is cycles. So it's very much connected to our Wheel of Fortune. But if you look at the moon, it's a representation of cycles every 28 days. And that's a one cycle that could be associated with the Wheel of Fortune card. So the moon itself teaches humanity about the cycles of our growth through a 28-day cycle. And it's being aware of those cycles of growth and of death and waning and waxing. So moonstone, also the stone itself, has a beautiful kind of rainbow glittering aspect to it if you look into it. And that reveals also just the different rays and how the universe communicates through the moon to Earth. Like how the moon is an important teacher in itself for humanity. And I guess also, a lot of the alien experiences that were discovered for the astronauts that have been to the moon or landed on the moon, they can't talk about that stuff. But the moon itself has been important for general society and the whole of humanity to wake up to other life forms. But I really feel, I forgot what you were saying when I pulled this, but I just got told to pull a crystal card. And I really think it's still connected to our Wheel of Fortune. Like, what cycle are you in personally? What part of the cycle in terms of your growth or of your evolution as a species?
Yeah. So
So
if
the alien experiences are really, like you were saying, when you were 19, it made you wake up.
yeah,
For me, I've had non-physical experiences probably since I was little, or definitely since I was little. I used to draw cloud people. They were people with heads as clouds, and I drew them over and over. And that non-physical entities, I've had lots of communication with them, but I didn't understand until much later what they were trying to share.
you
So I
know what
think our
comes to
species
mind?
is still not clear.
Even though you said you haven't had a UFO experience in per se, and we see that if you had it, it just in a like the cloud. That goes with back to where the UFO is able to be seen and unseen. So just to remind you again that some you've had experiences with them. It's just not like typical what we hear on the news, how that show up or you see them the ship. So that I hope that like give you awareness, like, oh, I really have had UFO experiences more and more. So again, the Fool, which came from part one video, which is exploring the unknown, is definitely the unknown. The hangman would come to mind is the enlightenment that it would give us in regard like, wow, there's more than to us out there. See what else we have.
Did you see Jones using an alien deck, a green and black deck?
Well, I love about the tarot that people got creative. They actually have like themes. So they have like theme about any topic, anything that you're into, whether UFO or love and things like that. But I like that we're using the standard card tarot that we all can understand. That's very like divider weight. So help us to, learn tarot where we could see it more. But Strange Tarot by Sunny B, it's all green and black, and had alien UFO on some cards. Well, you know what, Joan? Why don't you like pick out pick out two
Yeah.
cards to wrap up the video? Like, what is their message to us in regard UFO experiences? Because since you actually have a deck, it might be. Can you like pull them out and then type it in? What their message for us?
And I'm trying to find the moonstone card. So the Moonstone card comes from the Crystal Ally cards, and it's from the 90s. I don't know if Naisha Ashan is still doing those cards, but they're such beautiful cards.
Oh, that's interesting. Like somebody who knows a little more about the hangman is from the tree of life, the tree of life. And the top of the tree is Aether. In Greek, Aether, I hope I'm saying it right, means
Yeah,
heaven, and in Sanskrit, it means Ashka,
okay,
Ash,
okay.
heaven, in the sky.
And ether also is spirit, so it's one the fifth element. I don't know if the Greeks used it in that sense.
I mean, you know what comes to mind? Like people who are medium and they do that for a living, and they're able to help people to communicate with their loved one on the other side. And that's an example of like, even though they're not with us physically, but they're not really able to, like the UFO are able to show up in 3D and they're not. But who knows? Maybe as we expand and evolve, can you? I'd be like, okay, I have to get used to like you start seeing like relatives that have passed on come about. We got to prepare us. And again, I've been into spirituality for over 30 years and love the woo woo, but even I would share with Angela before the video, like there's something that we're doing now, and it's still woo woo for me, even for me. And that would be woo woo. I think I would freak out if I saw, you know, some ancestor appear. I'm like, please. That's why they probably come in our dream state so we can handle that better.
Yeah, the dream state also is very important for connecting to all those other dimensions, the non-physical.
Like, could our fearful part of our mind is not really at present in a dream state. So even though we still get scared and things like that, I could. That's why I could deal with it more in my dream state. Dream state could be another way of intuition, not just when you go to sleep. So I'm catching up on our. Okay. For us, it means spirit, the higher dimension. We are all light beings. Sarsi, this earthly life is not real. Weird, I got the King of Cup and the Queen of Cup. They are very well shuffled. Joan, I got the King of Cup and I kind of put it back in the deck. And I'm like,
Oh my
oh my,
God.
yeah. I was like, I sometimes I'm like, how am I going to explain that? How did that apply? So
Yeah.
don't
So
feel bad.
that's our homework now.
The first element create and contain the other four.
The ether. So the king and the queen, perfect harmony and balance. So Joan, that so Warrior Girl saying that the king and the queen are perfect harmony and balance. Yeah, I always find the cups are to do with love, heart, emotions, and being in balance or losing in love. So the king
That would make
is
sense. You would have
like
to have some
Joan saying,
emotional intelligence to deal with that.
right.
Emotional maturity. See, I was sneaky and I was putting in a deck. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. But it came up. So that's the message right there.
And it's because Joan's got the king and the queen, it's kind of the marriage of the heart and the mind. The moon, as well as a planet, balanced the waters of the planet Earth. It was an asteroid that came and balanced the waters of Earth when it came into orbit. And before the moon came into orbit, the waters were not in harmony. So I think the moonstone card is also reminding us that we came from a chaotic past. We came into this current cycle of evolution. And like Joan's king and queen, where are we headed? That harmony and balance of our emotions so we can evolve.
It reminds me of the power couple. It also reminds me of like yin and yang. Um, Yeah, it would require mature understanding, emotional intelligence. Goes back with the judgment card and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So that's a good.
And if you think about some of your other videos, Sylvia, like our planet at the political level is so out of balance emotionally.
Yeah, I'm like these people for real. You ever watch like what's going on? I'm like, is this for real? Oh
So
right,
Joan,
oh right. 'Cause Joan has the alien deck, the king of the alien with tentacles,
I
the
love
queen
that.
of the maid.
You're talking like one of those cosplays that I go to. That is completely like a cosplay sort of Comic Con or something that I've gone to.
I know come to mind, like from what I've heard about our universal friend, they come in so many different shades. They come in the form of crystal to being 7 feet tall to so it's like it would be like looking at mermaid. It would be like looking at something totally different than what we're used to. I mean, thank God for those movies. They're preparing us a little bit, with all those movies about superpower people, and I think it's part of like helping especially the younger generation. They have a lot of shows like that where it's about supernatural things. It's kind of preparing them mentally. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start wrapping up because we're on 51 minutes, and I would like to keep it under 1 hour. I meant pulling those two, the king and queen, together, no matter the suit, and mean harmony and balance.
Yeah.
And again, it always go back to all those different symbol we see in all different culture about yin yang and Kali and Shiva, and even now you hear about the twin flame. It's something about that maturity bit that's coming about uh, in our consciousness. I feel that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, because um, our planet's very emotional. So
Oh,
it's
the Earth,
significant.
the Empress reverse. Could
Mm. So we need to get our emotional intelligence rocking on, man, and be more, yeah, emotionally balanced so we can evolve.
so why don't we all pick a card up, one card each, and this is how we're going to end it. To any message that spirit could share with us that could help us be emotionally mature. All of us, that including you, Joan. The what is that? The moon?
Yeah. I think I've said enough about my moon. I must love it. Or maybe that rock rocked my world, literally.
Well, UFO landing on the moon. The whole
Grow up,
universe.
humanity. Let's be emotionally evolved or imbalanced.
Okay, so let's pick. Let's ask to close up. What can we do? What any message in regard um help to speed up our emotional maturity in regard any potential future UFO experiences.
Good future ones. Let me check.
The good thing is you don't have to do anything. It's happening. It's already happening. It's showing up on the news. We don't have to think about it. If you want to, great. But I'm not. It's just funny that the last two videos I'm choosing it, but it's happening. It's just the happening. That's something Angela and I understand. It's just happening. It's not something we're forcing it. It's just
I
part of
got
the
Three of Pentacles reversed, so it's about collaboration. You know, very
teamwork. The opposite of
what
teamwork.
that's our maturity project. Let's work it out, baby. Let's work together.
The nine of swords.
Oh my God, it's back.
How is this is helping us to be like? How is this helping us? Like how we could be mostly matured? I think it just push through any fears. Um,
Mm.
push through any illusions. I don't know what comes to mind again. It's just I just get the idea like not to worry about it. It's a happening. It happening. They already figure out that they have plans of how they're gonna help us to mature emotionally. And although three of coin in reverse, it oh, I get it. It had nothing to do with us. They're not working with us. It's a happening. They already figured out what they have to do. They were the people to how to make it where we're more emotionally able to handle this. And you know what? We got all these negative cards. Like, how is this helping us to get more emotionally mature? The three of swords is like heartbreak.
Well, for me, Three of Coins is working through heartbreak and working together to resolve. When you do collaboration, you have to work through problems.
Well, you know what come to mind with the strength, even though she said it, the alien with heart symbol and hand up. Strength is two things. It's like Beauty and Beast, and she tamed the lion. So going back to, and you could disagree with me, but the idea of it's happening anyway. They already have plans. Before I had the part of three of one, and I couldn't figure it out. But the three of one is like plan that's being done. Two of one is like a plan, and then three of one is like where it's starting to be happening. It's a happening. So I don't think we have to do anything. It's just awareness, like that requires emotional intelligence. I have two aces in reverse for yes, no question on my deck. Okay, so what that mean,
Ah.
warrior? So nine of cup is wish fulfillment. So anything come up intuitively for you guys? That's what I was getting with you. If I went with the card, I'm like, it's all like showing us the different ways that are not about emotional intelligence. The heartbreak, maybe, you know, not being with things you know about. The I'm getting confused with the seven of cup. Nine of sword is like worrying about that. So I think when they said it's don't worry about it, it's a happening. There are plans set. That means they already there are things set in motion to prepare us to get used to the idea of it. Does that make sense? Are we
Yeah,
good with that before we wrap it up?
Joan's got that piece with the strength of yourself.
Heart symbol, hands up. Yeah, we can strengthen our inner self by centering and meditating, getting closer to source energy. The truth cut both ways.
Mm.
That's I think is something we're gonna process. It's cutting through and seeing the truth to what life is really about.
Yeah, and where we're at and where we're going.
You know what I feel? Life is always gonna be mysterious. That always like universe is infinite. So even what we learned today is infinite in nature. Even something that million years ahead of us, they have things to grow. So that's there's always something to learn. So I feel that by recognizing, don't worry about it like a nine of swords. It's just a happening. It's a natural progression to things. It's part of that wheel of fortune. Like it's the next cycle of evolution of humanity. So UFO experiences is just very interesting. And maybe we'll have a part three next week. I don't know
Thank
what.
you, Sylvia. This is great. Yeah, I love doing the collective because I get so much.
This is where Joan, I feel like we have to use our intuition too. Because if we went with Just hi, Strawberry. Oh, this is Sharon. How are you, Sharon? We're just about to wrap up. I hope you watched the video from the beginning. It would be great. I would actually love to have Sharon do this with us. So I'm gonna ask you, Sharon. She's a reader and she's wonderful. Yet part three. Okay, we'll do like a part three. We'll see how that shows up next week. Alrighty, take care. Thank you,
Thanks,
Angela.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.